Oh my gosh. It's kangaroos. Oh my gosh. Ah. Oh, Jughead, you better watch your back. Oh, hello there. I didn't see you. I was too busy pretending to read this comic book and thinking of different ways to annoy my friend Jared. As you know, RebelsAtCloudNine is my YouTube modeling BFF, and but I'll have you know, he claims his name is Jared, but this is something that's only close friends of his know. So anyhow, you know that Superman's father, his name is Jor-El, right? And he was played by Marlon Brando in the old '78 Superman movie. So there was actually Jor-El had like a brother named Jar-Ed, and he was just kind of just a useless character in the comic books. Apparently, he didn't really show up very much, and he gets killed. So anyhow, it turns out that RebelsAtCloudNine, he's actually named Jar-Ed, but apparently his father is a big, comic book fan. He really likes Superman, but since the character he was named after is kind of just a useless character, he didn't really like being named Jar-Ed, and so he just kind of changed it to Jared instead. So anyhow, if you're on his channel next time, you can say, hey, what's the story with Jar-Ed? And maybe he can tell you about that. So, another month has gone by, and it's time for another one of these stupid videos of mine. Yes, I did go to Australia, and that was an interesting experience. There was lots of tree-lined boulevards and lots of rolling hills and very, very pleasant weather. It was like in the winter, because, seeing how the world is actually round and all that, it was winter time down there, and yet it was like very pleasant. I mean, you could be in short sleeves and you'd be just fine, really. So during the day, it would get up to like maybe 22, 23 degrees or so, and which, so actually I am an American, but I don't really think in Fahrenheit anymore. I'm guessing that would be like maybe mid-70s or so in Fahrenheit, but it would drop down to like maybe 5 or 7 degrees in, like around before sunup or so. So unless you don't get up before sunup, then you don't even really need a jacket very much. It was really nice. To me, it kind of reminded me of California, but the people weren't actually pleasant, and it wasn't filthy, and my life didn't feel like it was in peril. So other than that, though, it was very much like California. Lots of gum trees. That's where the koalas, they eat the gum tree leaves, the eucalyptus, and it was interesting seeing like the koala crossing signs and the watch for kangaroos and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. I took some pictures of that stuff, and it's just, I'm sure Australians get kind of bored with that. It's like for me, like when my sister-in-law, when we were living in Arizona, my sister-in-law wanted to go like find some like saguaro cacti, and because by the way, it's not cactuses, it's cacti. The plural is cacti, just like octopi for octopus, right? So she wanted to have her picture taken, like standing next to cacti, and I'm like, why? But I grew up around that crap, so I was just kind of used to it. So, I guess I could talk about Australia later on in this video, but for now, let's talk about model crap. So, I still need to get around to doing like a final video for the flanker group build. What? You know, past the deadline, everybody got their stuff finished except for Chancellor Northwest. He had decal problems, and so he kind of like shelved his he was working on the SU-34 fullback, and I kind of gave him like an extra couple months. I didn't pressure him or anything, but I was just waiting around to see if he'd get around to it, or if he would get some aftermarket decals or anything, and he didn't do that. So that was, gosh, so much has happened since then. But yeah, I need to do like a compilation video of everybody's final results. I also want to start Yamato group build. I know there's interest in doing that. Let's do it. 2202 has been completed for a while now, and I don't know. It was okay. I need to watch it with English subtitles so I can fully understand everything that's going on. But I didn't really need subtitles to really get excited over 2199. 2202 just kind of dragged in a lot of spots. But anyhow, I do want to start Yamato group build, so that would be the legacy Yamato stuff, Yamato 2199, and Yamato 2202, and whatever, the what was the other one, the Yamato 2520, right, the Sid Mead one. Anything goes, any Yamato stuff, space battleship Yamato. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll start that in September. Maybe I'll do that. I'm not even sure when I'm going to upload this video. So, what else? Oh, while I was in Australia, I got to meet in person, and somebody I've mentioned before on my channel was Wombat Samurai. I know him off of the Starship Modeler forum, and he started a YouTube channel, I think this year, or was it earlier this year, or like late last year. Anyhow, he's just getting started, but I got to meet him, and I hit it off with him rather well, and got to talk about lots of neat stuff with him. And we ended up not even really talking too much about models. We're just talking about lots of other stuff instead. So anyhow, super neat guy. I'll leave another link to his channel. And so let me see. I can show you. I've got the paint down on the F-14 Tomcat. Now this is the older tooling with the raised panel lines, and Wombat Samurai, his name's Chris, he actually is also working on the same model. I think he's probably further ahead than I am, but I've done the coloring, and you can see maybe some of the pre-shading that I had done on the panel lines. I've got the vertical stabilizers painted up, and I've just a few days ago I put down semi-gloss clear coat, so I should be ready for putting on decals. Maybe I'll start that this weekend. At least at the time of my recording this, it is Thursday, August 22nd. So, whenever this is going to get uploaded, I have no idea. But at this moment, this is as far as I have gotten on this. As you have recently seen, it was kind of a bit of a setback with my Eggplane Girl, but I'm going to... I totally scrubbed the crap out of her this time. So hopefully there won't be any lifting paint, and I'm going to use a resin primer. I don't know. I use that figure, that flesh-colored primer, and it mostly stayed just fine, but I don't know. I'll have to use my resin primer instead, I suppose, after all. Because that's what I did do on that smaller, that 20th scale Claire Frost figure, and I only had like paint lift up on like one tiny little place, if I recall correctly. I am going to be working on the Hustler some more. That's what this was. What I did was I scheduled a couple of videos to be released while I was on vacation, and the Hustler video was one of them. So yeah, I'm going to be doing this. Hopefully, it should be a pretty quick build because there's not a whole lot of painting. I do want to paint the inside instead of using those stickers, and but it's just I've got mostly just flat black, and that's pretty much it really. So what else could I talk about? So the Hien has a clear coat as well. I'm going to do panel lines and get back on this. And this is almost done. And then I'll put down probably a flat coat and just very minimal weathering. I don't want to go overboard with it. So, gosh, and those other eggplants. So I have these stencils cut out for the camouflage patterns. I need to make masking, cut around those templates and make masking so I can put down another coat of paint on those. And the Katinga, I don't know, like at the beginning of the summer, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this done before I go to Australia, and turns out I haven't even touched it. What else? I have been busy with these little X-Wings, and I posted a little thing. I don't know if anybody, maybe a couple people may have seen this. I put this on Twitter, but this is the little NPC X-Wings, and I'm putting in SMDs. So maybe I already talked about this in the last video. I don't know. You know, I'm just gonna skip ahead and just show you the neat crap I've gotten recently. Okay, first things first. Actually, I want to show some stuff that I'm wanting to part ways with. Some kits that I know I'm not going to get around to ever building, probably. This is a 1/6 scale resin kit of Akane from Ranma Half by Musashi. And it's a big kit. I mean, it's 1/6 scale. And so let me just like try to get her hair. I haven't opened up the bags at all, totally sealed. But like there she is. She is wearing like a heavy winter coat and a mini skirt. And it's a pretty decent kit. I'm just not ever going to get around to building it, I don't think. And also, this is a B Club original. This is Nara Phyllis from the classic anime Black Magic M66. This is 1/12 scale. And yeah, this is something I had acquired on Yahoo Auctions, and I've never actually seen this anime. But here she is. She is wearing like some sort of like a exercise leotard. So she's got like a crop tank top and a leotard bottom. And it came to me in this bag. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, here she is. So, if anybody's interested in these, 3,000 yen each, I'm hoping to get. And I think I might just make it available here. So if you're interested in these, in either or both of these kits, just drop me a message. And yeah, this is Akane, so this is what she looks like. And what's interesting is it gives you the different anime, like the manga style eyes and then the anime style eyes. It's kind of interesting. It shows you the different styles of the way they're drawn. So yeah, 3,000 yen. Let me know if you're interested. reply down below, and then I'll respond back. Okay. Okay. Now on to acquisitions. Now, living in Japan, there are a few things that I have a difficult time finding, and one of those would be AK Interactive products. Now, Hobby Link Japan is probably my go-to place for stuff like this because, you know, they kind of have more of a direct relationship as far as I know. I believe so. I don't know. So they do have some cool AK Interactive stuff. However, there are some things that I just cannot find on their website, and you know I can try to bugging because I know some people there or whatever, but whatever. So on my trip to Australia, I took advantage of bnamodelworld.com, and maybe there's a .au at the end of that, maybe not. They are obviously an Australian modeling website. So I bought some AK Interactive products. So let's look at this one first. This is AK Interactive Fuel Stains. This is an enamel wash, and oh look, it is fuel stains, just as you would think they were. That is name of a product that is not at all misleading, as you can see. I'm sure it's great. Let's look at that nice brown, dirty brown color. That's great. This is an enamel wash for interior. So this is this is for using on like they said to use it on like a pale colored interior washes, to do a wash on it, pale interior colors. So yeah, I think I'll do this on my F-14 Tomcat. This is also by AK Interactive, Intermediate Gauzy Agent Shine Enhancer. So, alright, so now I do have this. This is Alclad 2 lacquer, even though it's acrylic. This is Aqua Gloss Clear, which is a similar product, but I've heard that this stuff is even better, so I decided to buy a bottle to see what it's like. I've heard this is really, really great for silver, or like metallic silver type paint jobs, and that's the reason why I got this. So there you go. High quality product to create a protective and very realistic glossy sheen to areas where applied. This product also serves as a protective layer for the paint underneath. Apply in the way you would with any varnish. Apply and let dry for a few minutes. Yeah, so you can airbrush this stuff as well. Yeah, self-leveling properties. It can be applied with brush or airbrush. Isn't that great? Alright, I'm going to put this away. Now, moving on to some stuff I got in Japan. I got this stuff. I've had this on like a special order for a while, and it was because something was hanging up the order. This is from Yodobashi. I bought this off of, and the thing that I wanted, it's just been delayed, so I went ahead and took that one item off the order, and so then the rest of this got shipped out to me. This is by Yellow Submarine or Hobby Base, whichever. This is these are ball joints, and this is for modifying different parts. And check this out. I'm going to show you something really neat here. Okay, I bought this to use on this dongo from Crusher Joe. This is an old Takara kit, and it's been partially constructed, and that's how I was able to get a good price on this. But the way that this is made is that it just puts like little swivel joints, and then you kind of close this, and then you're supposed to glue it and then paint it or whatever. Not really the best way to do it, I guess, but what I want to do is try to make some sockets and then have the arms plug in directly onto here. So this is the robot's body. Yeah. Show you what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I guess the arms are still on the runners. Okay, so yeah, I think these are the parts here. So they're supposed to just kind of plug in. You kind of just sandwich them in here and then glue it together, and then that's what keeps them apart, or keeps them in place. But what I want to do is be able to paint these things separately. So I'm going to have these ball joints. Hopefully I can get this to work right. Yeah. Alright, now moving on. Something else I got from the same order. I got a couple of these paints, and it's quite possible I have already uploaded the video by now. I don't know. These are V-color paints. Again, this is for the vinyl figures, the soft B. It says right here, soft B. So I have what I wanted to get was some more flesh shade. They have 2 flesh tones, and by watching the video by Leona's workshop, I kind of learned that, you know, these fluorescent paints are really good for doing skin tones. So it just kind of almost doesn't make sense to me, but I guess it does. You just mix it with the flesh colored paints and to get warmer colors. And that's what you see here. I mean, they look pretty bonkers right now as they are, but that's why you use you mix it with the regular flesh tones. So here we have fluorescent red, number 32. In the middle we have fluorescent orange. Alright, it's red and orange, as you can see, obviously. And then this is fluorescent pink. So I think the fluorescent pink is maybe a little bit darker than the fluorescent red. Go figure. And I might even end up using this even more. But so the reason I got this is because I want to continue working on my Dirty Pair figure. And it's possible I've already done this by the time you see this video. I don't know when this is going to be uploaded, and I don't know when I'm going to get around to doing more airbrushing. It's kind of, we're in the middle of a typhoon right now. So there you have it. So anyhow, the way I did this is I just mixed like the Flesh 2 with like a light brown, and it really kind of makes it look kind of dirty looking. It didn't really turn out the way I was hoping it would. The brown is kind of more of a cooler color than I was hoping. It's not that warm color. So I'm going to try to do some of the shading around her well, like around her back and her underneath her bust and all that kind of stuff. See what I can do with that. So that's the reason why I got these. And I think, I don't know, maybe I'll have to just try different combinations, but I might do the orange, because this might be a little bit of like a tan color, which would be good for her darker skin tone, because, you know, the Yuri is a much lighter skin tone. So yeah. Anyhow, yeah, as you can see there, we got 2 different skin tones. All right, now let's move on. All right, check this out. This is by Wave. This is HG metal wire plier. Oh my gosh, version 2.0. Okay, so, oh my gosh, looks like I need to cut this open. It's got some tape here. Alright. Okay. This is something I've been meaning to get for quite a while now, actually, because I really need to get wire cutters. So check this out. Wow, look at that. Huh. That's cool. That's cool. Got some lubrication there. Alright. Now I happen to have some, this is a brass pipe that I would like to use. And actually this is, who was it? I think blah 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 is his name. Commented on my Skyline video saying that, hey, you know, what happened to the tailpipe? Because it doesn't really have much of a pipe at the back. But what I could do is just get something like this, maybe, and put a little segment there, and maybe kind of extend that a little bit. Let's give this a shot. I don't know if it's going to smash it. It probably will. But instead of like, you know, crimping it, what I might do is try spinning this, if it's going to let me. Maybe not. Well. Alright, let's just give this a shot, I suppose. Now, how far do I want this to be sticking out? I probably don't want it to be sticking out very much at all. Yeah. Alright, I think where I originally had it should do it. I don't know, this might kind of smash it and crimp it, but we shall see. Let's give this a nice cut here. Okay. And what's it look like? Yeah, it pretty much crimped it. Let me... then again, it's mostly for wires, not for tubes. Maybe I need to cut the tube instead, I guess. Or cut wires instead of the tube, because this is not going to cut it. As I thought, it's not gonna be good for pipes. So let's get a wire instead and see how that goes. I don't know if this is gonna be able to open this up at all, or maybe I can just cut it again. Yeah, this is not gonna do it. Alright, so I'll tell you what. I do have some other stuff and things. And alright. Okay. Now it says you can cut up to like 3 millimeters or so. So this is just a solid wire here, or a solid pipe. And let's do a little bit off here. Let's cut this off. So instead of using a rotary tool, maybe I can use this instead. Let me just cut this to like a certain length that I know I'm going to use. Okay. And then give this a nice chop. Without making it going flying, right? Hopefully. There. Here it is. Yeah. He says as he drops it to the floor. I am a spaz. That's a pretty clean cut, and it doesn't make a big mess either. That's pretty nice. So I'm not going to use any more nippers like I had been using. This like these cheap cutters like here. I got these from India, and you can see they're already kind of really beaten up. Perhaps that might, yeah, you can see that. It's just not good. So now I got this thing. It's great. I just can't use it for the pipes apparently. I'll just have to continue using a rotary tool for those. As for this part that I cut off, I put it on that toothpick from earlier. And I'm just going to use some Mr. Metal primer. And just brush on some primer here. Let this dry. And then put on some chrome. And then attach it to the car. So in my most recent purchase from Hobby Link Japan, I got yet another one of these really great Aces 2 ejector seats from Pavla Models. This is for F-15, F-16, A-10, etc. And I found out that that YF-23 also used the Aces 2 ejection seat. So, yeah, I've got this, and I have a couple more that are on back order. I'm just waiting for them to get more. Pavla, I believe they're from the Czech Republic. Maybe it says so here. Yep, Czech Republic. So, yeah, I got this. And I was poking around on the Hobby Link Japan's blog, it's in Japanese. This was featured. This is the GQ7A ejection seat that is used for the F-104 Starfighter. And not only does this look really nice, but it comes with photo etch. Check this out. Oh my gosh, yay. It's on the back here. Check it out. Photo etch seatbelts. That's fantastic. They're really cool. So yeah, I just saw this listed on their blog, and I had to buy it off their store. So I thought that was really cool to find this. Alright, so next. Meow Meow Kitty, you're in the way. Meow Meow Kitty was going to relocate anyways without being asked to do so. Meow Meow. Alright, so let's move this. Okay, so this is really cool. Oh yeah, so this is the F-104 Starfighter kit. I got this a while back, but this is what I got that for. And in fact, I'm just going to stick this in here. There. Hey, you know what? Hell, just for the heck of it. Where is the seat that this model comes with? I did an unboxing of this, like, I don't know. I kind of don't do individual unboxings so much anymore, because I always just kind of do these on the update videos. Where's that seat? Oh, this is it. Yeah, man, like totally, like not even, there's like hardly any features on that whatsoever. And compare, and I guess these are the sides here, right? But even still, this looks way cooler. Way more better. Yeah, totally. And so yeah, that's fantastic. Alright, let's move this crap out of the way. I'm going to show you the thingy I got. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this summer that I was going to get one of these, and I did. This is by Meng. This is the World War Toons M4A1 Sherman, and it's so cute. Look at these kitties. A veritable army at the command of Meow Meow Kitty. Do my bidding, kitty soldiers. Meow Meow. We shall all have catnip and belly rubs. Meow 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 Meow. It even says right there, meow. Like, these little kitties are so cute. They're so cute. It makes me want to scream. And I don't want to see that. How'd that get there? Oh my gosh. Trash off the floor. Oh look. Meng colors, dude. No way. Use Meng eco-friendly acrylic colors to paint the model for better fine result, or else. They look like rebranded Vallejo or something. I don't know. Anyhow, game-based cute shape, rotatable turret and elevated gun barrel. Fast cement-free assembly. Oh, it's a snap kit. Pink sprues. Oh god, yes, pink. Yeah, this is so cool. It has like an obi. I've never. That's cool. All right. Ow! Meow Meow Cutter. That is one pink model, and the tire treads are like cast in like blue. That's really wild. That is bizarre. Oh my cow. That is cool. And does it have the... Oh, look at this. Get the kitties. It comes with kitties. Little kitties. Meow, meow, meow. Meow. It even comes with Commander Kitty. That's great. Oh my cow. That is so fantastic. Well, that's a neat little kit. I don't feel like opening it up right now. But you know what? Hell, I think I will. Why not? I open up all my models. I'm like ruining the resale value on these if I ever come into some hard times, but gotta live for the moment. Alright, so here are the water slide decals. I hope they're water slide decals, or I will be very upset. But that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm sure they're water slide. They look like they're water slide. They got this little protective covering on them. Yeah, that's that. Interesting. Okay. Dude, this would be like, man, this is cool. So cute. Nice little cool colors in time for summer. Although I don't know if I'm gonna get started on this anytime soon. But here's all your wheels and crap. And then the turret, or the main top of the body. That's great. Well, that's neat. Let's look at these instruct images. And they're all in color too. Dude. Like, wow. Oh my cow. That is neat. Decal. Yeah, slide mark. Yeah, these are water slides. That is super cute. The tracks are a little bit too bright. I don't know if I can paint that or like do like a wash on them or anything. I don't want to damage the rubber because these are totally rubber, right? So they're gonna deteriorate after a while, unfortunately, which means I should probably build this kit soon so I don't depress myself when it comes time to, you know, if I build this on later on in my life and the treads are gone. That would suck. So yeah, that's super neato. You know, I could probably take this up to my family's place and work on this there. Maybe. It's just gonna be all one color, so I think I'll paint it pink. I don't know. What do you think? So, yeah, neat. Oh my gosh, check this out. This is Shiranui Mai from Garo Densetsu, or Fatal Fury Special. Yeah, Fatal Fury. The original Japanese name is Garo Densetsu. The name was changed because Terry Bogard had a hat called had said Fatal Fury on his hat, so they just renamed the game to Fatal Fury for the North American or wherever English world. So Garo is like a hungry wolf. Densetsu is legend. So Legend of the Hungry Wolf. And I'm hungry like the wolf. Alright, so who was that? Who sang that? Ah, Duran Duran, that's who sang that. Oh man, the 80s were great. Alright, and speaking of the 80s, I think the first game came out like on the Neo Geo, which was like maybe that was the 90s. I don't remember. But tail end of the 80s, early 90s. It was inspired by I think Street Fighter came first. In any case, this is Mai in 1/8 scale by Max Factory. Dude, this is a resin kit. And let's take a look inside. Oh my gosh, she's pretty. Oh. So, very anime style. And yes, I am a fan of the game series. Check this out. I got, for the Saturn, I got Fatal Fury Real Bout. This is King of Fighters 97. For the Dreamcast, for the English, the North American, I got King of Fighters Dream Match 99. For the Japanese Dreamcast, this is King of Fighters 99 Evolution. King of Fighters 2000. King of Fighters 2001. King of Fighters 2002. And this is Xbox King of Fighters Neo Wave, which is like really didn't have a whole lot of personality to it. It was just kind of a compilation game. And King of Fighters Maniacs, which is like a 3D rendered game. Now, I could have sworn I had King of Fighters 2003 somewhere on either the Dreamcast or the Xbox, but I do not, alas. I guess I'm not a true fan. Anyhow, one thing to notice though is that like the trim on her sash is yellow, and in the games like I just showed you, it's white. I don't think I've seen her with a yellow sash, so maybe that's just the artistic rendering, I suppose. I don't know. So anyhow, it comes with some photographs of how you're supposed to paint her, and oh look, they do it in white. So I'm gonna do this in white. And what's nice is you can see that the picture here, she has like really super dark brown hair. I really like how that's painted. That's a nice color, I think. So yeah, so she is a sexy ninja girl. She's dressed in the kunoichi, the female ninja outfit, but not really sure if what the real history behind that. I mean, that's traditionally how they appear in anime and video games and such. But she's just wearing a particularly more revealing than the normal. Similarly would be like Kasumi in Dead or Alive. Oh, and I just recently learned that Dead or Alive 6, that Mai is in that game. So that's cool. I do not have an Xbox One though, or any sort of new thingy console. So here are your instructions, as you could definitely guess. Gives you the painting instructions. So you got this neat little bow here. She has like this like the yin and yang. I forget what that's called in Japanese, but that's like to support her foot. If you put her on her stand, or you should put her on her stand, otherwise she's gonna fall over, right? But this is something to more solid, because she's kind of standing on her tiptoes in this pose. So her obi is white. Yeah, it even says to do it all in white. Don't pay attention to the box, I suppose. So just red and white, really, and then flesh tone, and it gives you painting instructions for her eyes, which is really cool. I do appreciate that. So she's kind of like looking towards you, you know, like up this way, you know, kind of like that sexy pose. And this is more of an anime style rendering of her, because typically, more traditionally, the SNK artwork shows her as a little bit more like realistic and not so much anime looking. It's a little bit more toned down. So like, you know, her eyes are maybe not quite so big and such. But anyhow, this is definitely more anime stylized. Alright, I'm going to shut up and just show you the resin here, because that's what you really want to care about, right? This could definitely qualify for the video game group build, which is currently underway. Mick, Shaz to Shaz, he is already done with his. He did the Galaxy Fraulein Una. And that reminds me, I need to get around to doing the final compilation video for the flanker. I just kind of lost track of that after my wife got hit by a car, so I need to get back to that and just do like a final compilation. I was waiting for Chancellor Northwest to finish his SU-34 fullback, but he had problems with his decals, and he was just kind of just shelving his kit, so it has become a shelf queen, so I'm just going to give up waiting for him to do that, and just go ahead and do a final video for that. Just kind of lost track of that. Anyhow, so here she is. She's going to be pretty tall, and you can see, like, you're probably wondering, like, what the hell's going on with her tits, right? So the deal is, how does this go here? It goes like Goes like so. Yeah. So what happens is that these are going to have to be assembled separately because, you know, she's got like you know, she's really rocking the side boobs here, and to accentuate that, to make it look even better, instead of having this all, you know, solid and it would look weird, to really give you the impression of how her clothing just kind of loosely fits over her tits here. This comes as a separate piece and just kind of cups underneath her breast here, and then you would just glue this into place and then hopefully do some touch-up paint. But this should be a pretty good fit, I suppose. Yeah, and then this goes like so over here, right? So should hopefully look fine when that happens. So her face, you know, she's going to be kind of looking down, and you know, her face is pointing down, and she kind of looks up to the corner of her eye. That's going to be pretty cool. Something I noticed, the instructions here, is if it mentions that if you really want to go like really detail up, you can carve your own like little strands of hair, and then place that in the back of her head, like right there. That'll add a little bit of realism. That'd be kind of cool, I suppose. But as it is, you could just assemble this later. It doesn't look like there's going to be a really bad seam, I guess. And then, of course, she's got that nice ponytail sticking out the back of her head. Her arms, like her straight arm is, yeah, it just goes like so. So you have these little guides and where you want to pin the resin pieces here. So her arms, like she's got one arm up like this, like that, right? I just need to cut this off. And yeah, it's going to fit like so. She's holding a fan. So yeah, this is pretty cool. So her hair is nice and busy looking. That's great. Hopefully nothing busts off. Oh yeah, so she's got her her forelocks here. These are separate pieces. So here's one, and then here's the other. That looks cool. And the way it is, you don't have to try to fill in the seams or anything. It should look just fine, I think. Her sash here that goes across, you know, it's wait, here, I'm gonna see if I can hold this together, and then come on baby, hold together, here we go. And then this is just kind of be flipping up, so you get a nice view of her her lovely lady parts. And nothing much else to say. Here is her fan that she holds, because in the game, you know, she tosses fans at people. I'm sure it hurts. I wouldn't want a strong girl to throw a fan at me, because it would be like, hey, quit it. Whatever this was, it must have one of these loose pieces here. This is like her hair tie, and there's not much else to say, I suppose. Just she's got some bows on her outfit. She's got a nice cute little bow here. It goes in the back, I believe. And there you have it. This is pretty cool, pretty cool, sexy kit. Okay. So getting back to the skyline here, what I did was I used my rotary tool, because that cutter just was, it's only good for cutting wires, not for cutting any sort of brass tubing or anything. I used my my rotary cutters to cut this, and then I painted it through my airbrush with Molotov liquid chrome. And I'm so glad that Steve at SMKR told me about this stuff one day, because I've really fallen in love with this stuff. Alright, let's just take this off the tip of the toothpick here, if I can. Doink! There we are. Now, what I shall is stick this on the back of this muffler here. And to do so, of course, I will need to do CA glue. It might be better if I just put this upside down, maybe? Okay, let's just dab a little bit of CA glue onto this. Don't want any strings. Get a little bit more on there. 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 Now that looks a lot cooler. That looks a lot cooler. Alright. It was maybe a little bit too long in the anyways. But you know, it could be custom or something, so who cares, right? That looks nice. Neat. Here's what you've all been waiting for. Oh my gosh, yay. This is the Super Star Destroyer Vehicle Collection Kit, and this is looking like it's going to be the longest vehicle collection kit yet, I believe. Yeah, it looks pretty big. I've seen pictures of this in comparison to the actually not upcoming, the just new released the same day that this was released, the 5000 scale Star Destroyer. Yeah, it's pretty big in comparison to that one. So let's take a look at the parts here. I was in a parking lot while my wife went in somewhere, and so I opened this up already. At that time I couldn't wait. So the stand is just standard, no biggie. The paint calls for like what, 60% white, gold gray 20%, and then IGN gray 20%. That's what they give you. All right, I'm going to point this down and zoom in. This is very well detailed. It is just amazing. All right, so let's look at the top hull here. Nice. You know, I'm going to zoom in even more. Alright, I guess this is as good as my camera is going to get it. I need a better camera that can really zoom in. Nice little detail on these tiny little islands here along the hull. And inside basically like these miniature cityscapes on this starship, because it's just so huge, right? The rear engines. Well, there's gonna be like what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, I think 12 different engines or something like that. And anyhow, so these are the two here, and there's going to be a 2 more that goes underneath here, I believe. So just really cool detail on there. Side trenches. This looks like maybe part of the top hull, I think. The little city canyon that's like on the top of the ship, maybe. So this is A14. Let me look here. A14. Oh, this is the back of the engines here. Yeah, the engines are going to be attached to this this part here apparently. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. So I guess this is like from looking at from the bottom. Here the engines come over here. This is like the bottom of the ship. So this is just pretty huge. I mean, just this front part alone, in comparison to the other Star Destroyer. This is it here that I painted here. This is it. I mean, let me zoom out again. Okay, so yeah, this is considerably longer than just the original Star Destroyer here. And like, this is the command tower on this. Okay, and I'm pretty sure this is the same size as the command towers on the regular Star Destroyers. So, I mean, like, so here it is here, and here's that, right? So that is pretty amazing. And here are the 3 engines in the middle, and you get these set of 3 engines off to the side. So this is going to be the bottom, and this is where the stand connects. But gosh, yeah, this is just the way they can get the detail on such a small scale is just incredible. So I have no idea what scale this is supposed to be, but it is pretty intricate. So yeah, just be careful with doing enamel washes. I would advise not doing that, or any artist oils, that kind of stuff that uses turpentine or enamel thinners and such. Just gotta be careful with it. Just go lightly if you do use that kind of stuff. Don't go overboard and soak it. So I'm not really sure what else to say about this. It's just really cool. Really cool. It looks like it's going to be a pretty quick build. If you're into lighting it, I would not even know where to start, but I'm sure Dotable Higa is going to try to figure out a way to do it in the upcoming issue of Model Graphics magazine or something or other, or maybe he would have it done in the maybe a Hobby Japan magazine or something. But anyhow, really cool. You know, I think I might just do a quick build-up of this for my channel, because you know, I'm getting this ahead of everybody else apparently. Maybe I'll just do like a quick build video and get around to painting it later, just like I did with the the last time I did that was the Millennium Falcon. I never got around to painting it again. But anyhow, yeah, super duper neato. Super duper freaking neato. I'm going to set this aside. Something that I had ordered. This is the American missile set here for the American Navy. And I bought this to use in conjunction with Fine Mold's F-14 Tomcat. So yeah, this comes with a lot of these different missiles, and I don't know what these are though. These lanterns? I don't know what that is about. Not familiar. So you get the painting instructions, and it comes with lots of decals. Isn't that a great thing? So you know, I'm currently working on the F-14 Tomcat by Haskell, the old one. And right away, definitely the detail is much better on this. Definitely, but you know, this is modern tooling. What this is, a 2015 Fine Molds, and it comes with lots of intricate decals. Isn't that nice? So yeah, these are lots of tiny little decals to put on your missile. So that is great. Neat stuff. Alright, so I thought that was going to be it for the model acquisitions, but it's not. So if you perhaps you may have seen Tokyo Model Detective's video. He released a video of an unboxing of the new Bandai Star Destroyer, the big McLarge huge Star Destroyer, which actually is smaller than the Revell build and play, but it's lighted and all that. He was going to get one for me, and that fell through, and unfortunately there was a mix-up with his supplier, the wholesale company, so they, yeah, so as he mentioned in that video, he wasn't happy about that. I've been talking to him for the past couple days about that. So anyhow, it's weird. I saw that kit on Friday, August 23rd, which was the day before the kit was to be released to go on sale. I saw it at Bandai in Isesaki. I was there with my daughter, and we were doing some nerd shopping, and they had one there for sale, and I'm like, used? I mean, Bandai is it's a huge, like, a nerd paradise type store, and I've done videos of those type of stores in the past. I haven't done one of Isesaki's Bandai, but you know, it's pretty much what you would expect it to be if you've seen those videos. Anyhow, they had one. It was used, but it was like this the same price as retail. So I don't know if maybe they sell new stuff there, or maybe somebody with some sort of inside connections may have bought the kit and they didn't like it, and so they sold it. I have no idea. But anyhow, that was the day before it was released, and I'm like, wow, that's wild. And then on Saturday, the 24th, I saw it at my local Yamada, and I'm like, wow, there it is, that's cool, but you know, I'm going to get one from Darren anyway, so who cares. And then that night, which was actually last night, because today's Sunday the 25th right now, at least when I'm making this video right now, I found out what happened. I'm like, oh crap, oh well, I guess I'll just go without. But it turns out somebody else who wants one, I got this for him, and it's here it is. This is so gibungus. This is just, it's huge, enormous. Look at this thing. This box is just, it's big. Alright, maybe, shoot, how am I gonna do this? I'll just point this at my lap, I suppose. It's just, it's so big that I don't think I can do this on my bench, right? Alright, so you take this off here, and the first thing I noticed is that this runner here, runner C, is identical to this. This is, they popped this runner twice. Runner C, you have opaque and you have clear. Now, a lot of people are asking questions online, it seems. Yes, this does have pre-drilled holes. Okay? Now, some people have said, well, why do they have holes if it's in clear, blah blah blah? Well, so this is not really like an AMT, like Star Trek Enterprise kit where it's glued and it's all hollow inside, right? Because this is a typical snap fit Bandai kit, right? And so you have all these locator pegs and everything, and when you're building something like that, you have, like, if you have a bunch of opaque stuff in the middle, you can't really put a light and then have the proper disbursement, because you have a bunch of, like, internal structure that's getting in the way of the light. But if you have, like, it's all clear, then there you go. So here you have the side trenches. This is just really, really cool. I'll get in closer later, okay? Just for now, this is what I'm doing here. This looks like
It's probably for lighting purposes. Maybe this is the internal structure and they have it white to bounce the light around. Now this is the size of the kit here. This is it. Now this is 5,000 scale, and just give me a moment here, hold on. Okay, so as I was saying, this is 5,000 scale. The detail, as can be expected from Bandai, is just simply amazing. Now, I do have the Revell Build and Play kit, which is pretty toy-like. Now, this is a 4,000 scale. They actually kept it as an actual, like, what, the AMT was like 4222 or something like that, which means it's just slightly smaller than this. But this is exactly 4,000 scale, or so I am told. And this was an actual improvement over the AMT kit, like at least in terms of like proper proportions and everything. It builds up to be a pretty decent kit. Now it has this lousy noise maker with the lights, and you only have just these 3 engines that light up. the other engine lights and everything else, nothing else will light up, right? So it's just in the back, just those 3. Other than that, it's cool. What I like about it is like the little cannons, you can actually like move them around and such. And that's neat. Well, anyhow, it is smaller, but it's not like totally disappointingly smaller, right? Because I noticed a lot of people online were like, oh crap, it's, you know, it's 5,000 scale. It should have been at least 4,000 scale. So it's better than the Revell in terms of size at least. But you know, the Zvezda kit is just totally just huge. Okay, that is just huge, enormous. If you want just the biggest you can get the Zvezda. You know, it's been repackaged by Revell, although I don't know what's going on with that company anymore. Anyhow, this is not bad for what it is, and Steve at SMKR, he was nice enough to give this to me. The thing about this is it has these stupid little flaps in the back, like this. So, other than that, though, it's pretty cool. Detail-wise, this cannot even compare to this. This is just so incredibly great. Oh my gosh, and I'm just now noticing here. There's my pointer router. Here we go. This is cool, guys. This is really cool. Alright. This actually has holes drilled around these islands here. So, I don't have a better word to describe these things, but like on the top and the bottom of the holes you have like these little islands, and it has like little lights, right? I thought maybe you'd have to drill these out, but no. These actually have holes. Holy crap. That is cool. Those gun turrets are molded solid in this, just like on the Zvezda. You know, you can expect that, I suppose. Anyhow, though, this has the proper holes drilled out all the way around here. That is just so cool. Holy crap. I did not expect that. Now, let me put this away here. And again, I'm going to try to go over this like a little bit more closely later. So this is the battery here, and it has the LEDs. You would be plugging them in here, and yeah, that's it. So it looks like there's like different switches. There's 4 different switches to power on different things. Maybe the engines have like a flickering effect or something like that. I don't know. I know that they had a video, I think, on Bandai's website, but anyhow, I'm starting to ramble on. I do apologize. We have like a huge engine here, and then you got these other 2 smaller ones. This looks like it's the back of the command tower. I would say that's probably what this is, what we're looking at here. And, dude, oh my gosh. Here you have, also in clear, And I imagine they probably also have this as opaque as well. This is the face of the command tower. The bridge is like right here in the middle here, and indeed, get some light here. This also it's been pre-drilled, I think. It would seem that is the case. I'm pretty sure this is drilled out. It's actually more difficult to see on the clear than it is the opaque, of course. I guess I'm not surprised. Anyhow, yeah, all these are all pre-drilled, so I imagine it's probably just more of the same. And this is something I noticed in Model Graphics magazine. There's just this part here. I don't know what that's going on with that. Maybe that's on the back of the ship. I don't know. Alright, now here's that bridge again. Yes, it is pre-drilled. The lights, yep. So this is all drilled out. So you're getting... I mean, if you're like a real clever swine, you could maybe... Although the way that they do the parts ordering, if you get the replacement parts, it ends up more expensive than the actual model kit. But like, I mean, you almost have enough for 2 different ships, but you would have to get this and that and whatever else. Anyhow, again, I'm rambling. So yeah, this is drilled out. So that clear part we saw, it was just this part in the middle. You didn't get this other stuff here. This looks like where the engines go, I imagine. I don't know what these are, actually. What are these? I don't know what's up with those. So it would look like the LEDs just go straight into those sockets, maybe. This is really, really fantastic. Now let's look at the bottom. And again, all of these are properly drilled out. Amazing. The holes are molded into these little islands on the bottom of the ship as well. Really, really great. And I could see here, there's a hole here. There's like the main hangar, and there's like a little smaller hangar here. The Zvezda, this is all solid. You would have to cut them out and do, like, if you want to do like photo etch or whatever. Yeah, this is, that's it. That's empty. That's cool. Now this kit also comes with like a Rebel, the Corellian Corvette, and a Millennium Falcon. And where is it though? I thought that it was supposed to be here. There's supposed to be a Corellian Corvette. I don't see it anywhere though. Now this is the trash opening, and that is open, so that's going to be lighted as well, apparently. That's really cool. You have this superstructure on top of the command tower, which if you lay it flat, it's going to be like Empire Strikes Back. But if it's up on its edge, that's more like A New Hope, right? So like A New Hope was the Devastator, and then Empire was so the Devastator was like this, the Avenger was like that. There's some cosmetic differences, but anyhow, I'll just end up rambling even more because I am a spaz. I don't see the Corellian Corvette though anywhere. It's supposed to be in here. Oh! Alright, here we go. Found him. I got it. Alright, check it out. Here's this tiny little Millennium Falcon. You can stick that on the back of of the. Look at that! It's got a snap peg even. What the heck? So you can really just. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, if you want to glue it on the back of the command tower, you know, you'd have to snip that off and just glue it on there, I guess. But and this is the Crolian Corvette here. Again, this is for Jerry. I'm not gonna be opening up the bags because, you know, whatever. But anyhow, so yeah, this looks like the internal structure, and everything else fits on top of that. So because this stuff is going to get in the way, you definitely want to have. Yeah, see, look at that. Here, this is the internals of the command tower. So you want to make sure that this is nice and white inside, and it's kind of bounced around the light enough. All right, so this is cool. This is really super duper neato. To continue with this though, I'm gonna redo the camera here. Get out my big tripod instead of this tiny one here. Now I'd like to make a note of this. There are two different books in here. Okay, so this is the regular instruction booklet here, and so it gives you the instructions on how to wire this up, you know. Oh, look at that, not used. Isn't that interesting? I guess this says used for other stuff as well, apparently. Bridge front LED harness. Huh. Ship bow LED harness. Okay, well, everything's all marked out in English. So, yeah, here we go. You can assemble the blockade runner and the Millennium Falcon on this little stick here. That's pretty neat. This is the display stand, apparently. Alright, so here is a picture of the original filming miniature here. Okay, so you can, you know, definitely see all the greeblies, and if you really study the original movie props quite a bit, you can identify, like, for example, this here. This is the bridge to the what is it? The HMS Bounty? Or no, sorry, the Prince of Wales. Yeah, that's what this ship is. This part here is the bridge to that ship. So, yeah, here you just. It says, enjoy the condensed accuracy and intricacies of the 15000 Star Destroyer. It says right here, what makes Bandai Spirits... Oh yeah, so they admit that the Star Destroyer has been made by different model companies in the past. What makes this Bandai Spirits edition... Why do they call themselves Bandai Spirits? I don't know. I've never really realized when they started saying that. I guess Bandai Spirits is specifically for their modeling section of the company. I don't know. Well, what makes this edition absolutely different from its predecessors is the almost obsessive level of accurate research put into it, and ultra-precise recreation referred to as crazy molds by users overseas. I've never heard the term crazy molds, but you know, whatever. Alright, so. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, close-up photograph of the front view of the bridge. Images are the models for film. So this is the actual filming model here. That's what you're seeing here. And you'll notice this is like a warm white. I don't know what these LEDs light up to be, but yeah, it's definitely a warm white color. That's pretty cool. So, lots of tiny little intricate holes. Look at that. That's a cool picture right there. Photograph of the lower left shows the hangar on the front section of the bottom surface. Oh, that's what this is here. Photograph of the bottom right shows the port side of the bridge structure. Both are close-up photos which can be used as references for painting and panel lining for users who want to further customize the kit.
Isn't that nice? I dropped my stir stick. Alright, so, and here we go. Now, if you want to really take a step above that and level up, this is put out by Model Graphics, which is really great because, you know, it's a great magazine. They always do lots of really great fun stuff. And Model Graphics, actually, they were the ones who had that special clear cast vehicle collection Star Destroyer that came out, I think, last year in summertime. Alright, so the wedge-shaped Imperial Star Destroyer is a capital ship bristling with weapons, blah blah blah, we already know that. Alright, what does this say here? Okay, example of the bridge using transparent parts. A great number of optical fibers have been used for the example piece, but this bridge was prepared as a separate piece. All of the holes in the transparent parts were filled in with UV resin, and LEDs were installed inside. Okay, so if you get some UV resin, you can fill in the holes. I would imagine you want to paint it first, and then fill in the holes with resin. And although those are pretty tiny little holes, though, I don't know how successful I would be at that. After light blocking and painting, the surface was finally drilled to achieve detailed lighting. Please try this method if you feel confident with your skills. Surface was finally drilled. Okay. After light blocking and painting. Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, if you really want to go all out, you can do this, I suppose. Fiber optics, you might be able to put that in there instead of UV resin, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Total of 7 engines can be lit up. 3 are directly lit with LEDs, while the 4 sub-engines are lit from a single LED picking up light with optical fibers. Oh, dude. Really? Multiple lights on the iconic sides of the hull structure under the bridge can be recreated as seen in the photograph. Notice that there are red and white lights mixed throughout the bulb colors. Yeah, they're not all the same color. Not only the hull, but also the areas surrounding the bridge have been intricately painted gray. The panel lining and the details has been done using multiple shades of gray. Isn't that nice? Alright, so you got, like, look at this. You got the LED here. The parts from the transparent runners on the side trenches can be lit up from the back to recreate large lights. That's what you see here. These are the larger lights. Yeah, you can't really do that with the Vista, I suppose. So that's cool. It is impossible to evenly open a large number of small holes in a row, as seen on the studio model, without dedicated jigs. But this kit comes with 2.25mm holes out of the box. By embedding the optical fibers into them, it is relatively easy to brighten the countless lights on the hull. Okay. And this is what you got here. So you could do that. You could do that. And here's the, I think this is wood. This is the, like, yeah, this is the actual studio filming miniature here. Alright, so you got light blocking paint. Designated black paint is required to prevent light from leaking out. It should be applied using an airbrush instead of paint from spray cans, which can end up filling the fine details. Yes. And here in Japan, this came out. This is Shade Black. This came out a year ago, and I have used this in some of my videos in the past. This is by Model Caston. This is specifically formulated to block light. I've used this in my videos in the past, so I think I just said that. Sorry about that. Instant adhesive. So you're going to be using some sort of instant adhesive used to secure optical fibers to the surface of the hull. Of course, you don't want to use CA glue though, because I've heard that that is not good on the optics, fiber optics. Now we have aluminum tape used to directly wrap LEDs or to plug leaking light. Okay. Got plastic pipes used to collect light from the included LEDs with optical fibers and also for guiding the optical fibers internally. A pipe with an outer diameter of 5.5 millimeters would be used. Okay. UV resin can be placed on the root of optical fibers, temporarily secured with instant adhesive and hardened, resulting in the optical fibers becoming difficult to break. Oh, okay. Interesting. Wow, this is pretty cool. And, yeah. So, I guess I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I mean, even if you can't read Japanese, you can kind of follow kind of what's going on here. I'm kind of disappointed. Actually, I thought these would be lit up with, like, little independent little lights, but apparently not. So there you go. Very, very freaking cool. And this is apparently being sold out immediately. And people are price gouging on eBay. Alright, let's take a look at the detail on this. This is just really, really great. Let's see if I can zoom in here. Alright, so as you can see, pretty nice. And, alright, are you able to see that? You have these little holes all along these islands here. So this is the one on the port. Here's the starboard one, which is actually larger. And then you have this one in the middle. Again, I believe, yeah, I can see it through my viewfinder, so I'm sure you can see this. You have all these holes pre-drilled. Everything's already done for you. All you would need to do is just to kind of cram some fiber optics in there, I guess. But yeah, there you go. Everything's already done for you. Really cool. Nice. Alright, let's move on. I'm not going to show you the clear stuff because, I mean, it's hard even for me to see it, let alone somebody on YouTube, right? Alright, now here is the bridge. So I could just kind of do this upside down, I suppose. So, yeah, holes. You do have holes. Here's the top of the superstructure here. Very nice. There's one of your engine cans. Really nice detail in there with the little ribs. That sometimes I think what the AMT was probably the worst. The MPC AMT kit is just pretty bad. Really featureless engine cans. So yeah, got these neat little piping and everything in there. This is obviously, this goes to the back engine part, and that's what this is here, the big back engine. Neat. Now this is the runner that's available in clear. There we go. Again, holes. This is pretty cool. Now the thing about holes, drilling holes by myself, is like I can't get them like lined up properly, and this takes out the guesswork. So that's pretty cool. And so yeah, these are the side trenches. Looking really nice. Really, really sharp detail. I would say these side trenches are way better than even the Zvezdas, definitely, I think. I haven't looked at this Zvezda one in a while, but I have it, but yeah, that is cool.
Pretty freaking cool, guys. Alright, next I'm going to show you the bottom. So again, the holes for the islands, that's great. So this is all solid here. And then this, you'll be adding those hangers, these two hangers separately. Nice detail along the edge here. Those are pretty cool. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so last I'm going to show you the white runner. Alright, let's take a look at the blockade runner. So the blockade runner comes in two parts, like the main hull, and then you got these engines. Like this the engine cluster here is pretty, I don't know, you don't see a lot of tons of detail, but it's pretty much represented where it needs to be, so that's cool. And see, here you go. And where's the Falcon? I saw it. Oh yeah, here it is. Now the Falcon they even managed to do the radar dish on there, so that's really cool. That is cool. And in case you can't see, you actually have the molded parts. You can see like the gun turret, and they got like the pattern of 6 circular vents on the back of the ship, and yeah, really cool. Neat. And the bottom is, even though that peg is in the way, it still has some detail there. So there you have it. That is it. That is really cool. Really fantastic. And I'd like to get this kit for myself, but we shall see. Okay, so here are my final thoughts on this this gibungous box here. Okay, so this is first production limited. I don't think you're gonna get the model graphics pamphlet if you get this kit with the clear parts and everything, and the lighting kit at a later date. This is just the first run that you're going to get that. However, I didn't really see anything that you can't already find online, tutorials and such, or if you watch videos of people doing this kind of stuff. Yeah, so there you have it. Now, the lighting kit itself, the box where the batteries are stored and where the power switch is on, I took a look, and it is the same as I was watching Model Chili's video of doing his 72nd scale Millennium Falcon. It's the same contraption. Okay, this superstructure here, you have to pop it off to get to the bower buttons. So if you want to light it, turn it on, you have to pull it off, push the buttons, and put it back on. Eventually something bad might happen with that. I really couldn't tell you. Okay, that's not something I'm interested in. And in fact, when I do my Katinga, whenever I finish it, I'm not going to keep opening it up. I'm going to have like external power coming from the stand or something. Okay, so that is something else. People I have seen online are like, well, what's the point in the clear parts if there's already holes? Well, okay, so when you have a snap kit like this, you're going to have like those locator rods and all that kind of stuff. That is going to interfere with light dispersion. If those are all clear, and even though you're going to be painting over it and light blocking and everything, at least on the inside it's going to be clear, and so the light is going to be passing through it. If you want just something just to put this together, just have the bulbs inside and paint it up, then the light is going to be coming through those holes. It's not going to be quite as nice looking as if you were using fiber optics, but you could do that and get away with it, and it'll look pretty cool. If that's what you're satisfied with, then that's fine. Now, for those who are serious well, I don't want to say serious modelers, but people who are really serious about lighting their kits, okay, if you have the experience,
especially. I have not gone through something with tons of fiber optics. I have not done that myself, but I'm up for the challenge myself. Okay, after studying this kit, I am looking at probably getting just the standard version. I've contacted Tokyo Model Detective, and I said, I'll probably just get just the regular one. If you can get me the regular Star Destroyer, I'll be happy with that. Because like I said, it already has the holes, okay? And at 0.25 millimeters for those holes, that is pretty intricate. Now, the smallest I have is 3 millimeter. Sorry, a 0.3 millimeter Tamiya drill bit. I will be going through so many of those drill bits, busting them off to drill out all of those hundreds of holes. Okay, I would go crazy doing that. That work has already been done with this. That's what's so fantastic about this, and that's why I was so impressed with this at first. I still am impressed, but with all those holes there, that eliminates so much work out of the whole thing. Plus, you don't have to worry about the lights, they're not lined up in a perfect row, right? You might be kind of scattered a little bit. Some of the best builds I've seen, they still have, you can't get it totally perfect, and that's kind of what is unfortunate with doing it by hand. This is tooled with the holes already there. All right, so again, this kit you can choose to use the clear or the opaque plastic. The opaque plastic, of course, you're not going to be worried about light leak as much, right? So maybe you don't really even need the clear parts if you're going to be using the fiber optics, okay? That's why I'm saying, at least for me, I would rather just have the external power supply. Like, for example, my Sideline Raider that I did, I have the battery pack. It's strapped to the stand there. What else? The other thing is that these are gonna have to use fiber optics to light these up. That's really the only way to get these to light up, and I didn't really like that. I measured it. These are 3 millimeters, and then these are like 2 millimeters. I measured the holes. Okay, so if you get like 3 millimeter LEDs and then 4 2 millimeter LEDs, then you'll have direct light in all 5 of those, or sorry, all 7 of those engines. Okay. This is lit up, the trash disposal area where the Slave 1 came out of, so that is cool. But yeah, I would say if you're going to use fiber optics, you really, and if you're not interested in opening this up every time just to turn it on, if you'd rather have just like a little switch on the stand, don't soak your pillow in tears tonight. Oh crap, I'm missing out on this. I'm gonna have to pay like $100 on eBay because I have to have it. You're not gonna be missing anything if you get the standard version, is what I'm saying. The standard version still has the Corellian Corvette, still has the Millennium Falcon, if that's really what you care about. I personally don't care. I think those are neat little thingies to come with it, those little gimmicks. But the focus is this, okay? And I mean, if you want to stick a Millennium Falcon up here or something like that, and whatever, that's fine. You can do that with this, and the little Falcon, it's pretty well detailed for its size. It's pretty nice. So yeah, again, you might be just happy with just getting the regular, and that's what I'm going to be doing. It still has the little internal structures where you can like fit the LEDs into and everything like that, so that also helps. That's going to help with the maintenance of all the fibers and such as well. And that is pretty much it. So again, this is cool, but I'm going to pass. So yeah, let's just move on to something else. If you thought that was the last of my acquisitions for this month, I actually thought so as well, but just as my coil was hitting the green line. So check this out. Alright, so unfortunately my toy store in my town is called Katayama, and it has quite a long history of like spanning multiple decades. I would say at least 60 or more years. One viewer, Kevin, he was asking me about like the disappearing Showa period, And what I kind of like about my small town is that it has a lot of remaining Showa type. I'm sorry, Showa is like, the post-war period up until like 1988, 89 or so. That's called a Showa period. Then like around 1989 until just this year, that was called the Heisei period. Right? They use the Western calendar, but they also officially they use the year of the Emperor. And now we're in the Reiwa, which has started like a Golden Week this year. If you remember, there was like that long 10-day vacation that I had that I mentioned in my previous updates. Anyhow, the Katayama is going out of business. This is the last week. And I just happened to go in there because I had seen some some advertisements about like new perler bead colors, and I went in there and they had it. This is finally they have like a navy blue color. And I've been hoping that they would make a navy blue color, and they had it. Perler beads, you've probably seen them in the background. I'm always making these perler beads, like up there. Got the Pac-Man and all that kind of stuff. This is my other hobby. I haven't really done anything in over a year or so now. Anyhow, I go in there and I saw that everything is 50% off. So I'm like, well, heck, I'm going to get this. This is the last Star Wars kit they had. They didn't really have very many, but they had this, and it's Luke Skywalker. It's a Stormtrooper kit. And this came out, I think, earlier this year, and so with 50% off, I only paid like 1,500 yen for this. I can't tell you how happy I am about that, but it's very sad as well, because a toy store is gone. Now, this toy store just only had like a little back corner that had just a few model kits. There really wasn't a whole lot. But yeah, so the town I live in, it had like these really long-standing, surviving stores. And even though this is a small town with like maybe 48,000 total population, there was this toy store, only a very few models, called Katayama. And there's Kijima, which is my the main store I go to. That's maybe half models and half toys. And then Marusen, which is maybe it's even smaller store, but that's maybe half of it is all models, and the other half is like toys and school supplies and stuff. And anyhow, so those two stores are okay, but Katayama is going goodbye, and I'm really sad about that. But I can't say I've ever really gone in there very much. Mostly I go there just to buy the here it is, the perler beads. So anyhow, this is Mark Hamill here. It looks kind of weird, but it's because he doesn't have any hair. And then as I say that, now I realize why nobody likes me. But it's already pre-shaded. It's really cool how they made this. He's got the shading on his cheeks. It looks strange, but when you put the hair on top of him, it's really great, right? It is a remarkable likeness to Mark Hamill.
Oh, hi, Mark.
So, there you have it. I'm not going to go into this very much. It's just a standard Stormtrooper kit, but it has Mark Hamill's head. Oh, I also picked up, because they did have a bunch of Nausicaa kits, and this is the only one I didn't have. So it says right here 1,000 yen. I got this for 500 yen. This is the last one I had not yet gotten. So this is 1/20th scale. It only says like right here. It's like really tiny, because I was looking around like, what the hell scale is this? It says right there it's 1/20th scale. Nausicaa riding on Kai. So she's got this chocobo thing that she rides in the movie, right? So this is really cool. Really freaking cool. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, but I've mentioned this before because I have shown these in other videos before. These are like retoolings of the old Tsukuda models, and they've turned them into like snap fits, and they also tweaked the molds a lot because like her face, she doesn't look like she has Down syndrome. Nausicaa actually looks pretty nice. The molding is really great. It's that kind of flexible kind of plastic, and it has decals for her eyes. So there. And then here's her chocobo, whatever this bird's called. I don't know. It's Kai, but I don't know what type of bird it is. Some genetic mutation bird, like a ostrich. So they did a really good job with the painting there. You know, the silver on there on the rifle, and her swords as well. Really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. And so I sent a message to Jar Ed because he wanted to get some Nausicaa kits, and I think I'd gotten one before him before. I couldn't remember, and he wanted the gunship. So I got him this. I've already done an unboxing of this, so there. But yeah, sad to see the toy store go. But there's also the Yamada in town, and I guess they're just getting competition. And it is a kind of a small town, and even though there's you know, they have a bunch of schools, lots of kids and stuff, but it's dwindling population, and they're struggling with online sales, and also the Yamada. I think people are going there for saving money and such. But oh, I ended up getting 2 of these hot coral by mistake. I'm a total spaz. I'm colorblind, so I have a hard time with colors, especially pastels like this. This is nano beads. I've never actually bought any of these before. Now I've never done any videos of you know, how to make these, because it's like dirt. You know, how could you not know how to make these things? It's real easy. Plus it'd be super boring, even more boring than my regular model videos. But it's got a bunch of colors that I liked, and I need to get like a little tray with a little pegboard so I can start making these kind of things. I'm gonna make some some Dragon Quest slimes with my daughter, but I need to get some black and white, some other colors too. But for like half off, I couldn't resist. So nano beads, I've seen these before, and I've wanted to get into them. And I know I have seen like they had like Super Mario Brothers and Zelda and other stuff like that here in Japan. So this is made by Kawada. And I think Kawada is the company that imports the perler beads, if I am not mistaken. Yeah, Kawada imports these the perler beads, and they make their own stuff here. So anyhow, that's neat. Ooh. Oh! I didn't see you there. Hey, I guess I already used that stupid gag once in this video. So, anyhow, let's look at YouTube comments. I only have one token dingus for this month's stupid comments by YouTube trolls. And actually, this guy left 2 comments, but one of them got fried running through an electrical field. Now, this is the one that made it through my filter. So this guy's he actually chose his name as Trump is a crybaby dictator narcissist. Yeah, I can tell right away I'm going to get along with this guy. Wow, all your tools. This is, by the way, this is the Bandai Y-Wings. And this is after I had put down the decals. This guy says, wow, all your tools and all the work you put into your kits just to ruin it by using a glossy paint and making your kids look like toys when they could have looked like small movie props. These ships should look dry, dusty, flat, super flat. Why I continuously see multiple model builders that seem to be very talented using glossy paint on these first generation Star Wars ships is so heartbreaking. I don't really see anybody who does that. Everybody I've seen, at least on YouTube, they weather it. People on the sci-fi modeling forums and such, they weather theirs. I don't know what this guy's talking about. But the thing is that this is the 3rd video in the series, and I think video 4 was the final, in which I spent all the time weathering it. So this guy was criticizing my video, and it wasn't even the final product. It was just like, you know, what? So you can see down below, I said the gloss was to help the decals go down easily, dipshit. Gosh. So here's the one that got caught up.
Semi-gloss topcoat, lol, what an idiot. Hey, you should call up the model builders that made the props for Star Wars A New Hope and tell them they should have used semi-gloss topcoat on all of their models. Those shiny ships flying in space would have looked so much better than the dusty flat ships we saw, lol. God, this guy is like really good at punctuating his sentences. Hey, whatever. Two different words. What space ever. I'm just trolling. Maybe you should like shiny. You just like shiny starships, to each their own. I say only this one time. Except it wasn't one time. He had to do it a second time because he's a dickhead. Semi-gloss. Whoa, lol. Yeah, you put down semi-gloss so that the decals can be slid around more easily. What a bonehead.
Get the fuck out of here, you stupid idiot!
Alright, how about some nice comments this time around here? Okay, so first, nice comments. This is Jody. I like Jody. He's great. He's the guy, if I remember right, he gave me those Star Wars trading cards back when I used to like Force Awakens, and now I don't even like that movie anymore. Boo-hoo. But they were pretty cool, and I like tops. And anyhow, Craig, are these figures a sort of niche modeler? Well, yes. Yeah, and he says, I can't really say I have even noticed them for sale outside of online sites. Never really met anyone that built these. Well, that's great. I like to do stuff that other people don't do. I like to take the road less traveled. So here's another comment I liked. Now this is by RebelsAtCloudNine. This is Jar Ed here, and he says, well, that was embarrassing. You said, oh dude, and I replied, what? I thought we were vid chatting. Haha. Yeah, my videos are just like hanging out, really. So that's why you might hear some music playing in the background, or I'm watching news or whatever. It's just hanging out. You know, you don't have to make a big production out of, and you don't really have to say this is how you're supposed to do it. This is just sharing the hobby, not really doing tutorials or anything. I don't like to put a whole lot of production into my videos. And Tommy Boy said, I got a lot of clothes folded watching this video. Thanks, Craig. Hope all is well. And I hope all is well with you, Tommy, because as I've said before, I've really thought about you over the past couple years, and I hope to see you start building again soon. So we got these kangaroos just eating in the pasture here. And this one guy's checking me out. It's just right next to a busy road here. And this road is like, you know, reminds me of California.
So I had a really great time in Australia. This was a business thing. It wasn't, I mean, I kind of considered it a vacation, but technically it wasn't a vacation. I was just there to kind of, be there for students. I'm not going to say where I went, but I mean, it was in the Brisbane Gold Coast area, right? So I'm not going to say what school I was at and all that kind of stuff, but the students were for the first time doing some like English immersion classes, and it's just the Australian accent can be really difficult for Japanese people. I think the British accent is very easy for Japanese people. Okay, like for example, when they translate words into like a Japanese pronunciation, like with the katakana pronunciation, like as an American I would say stop, right? But a British person would say stop, and that is how it becomes in, as a borrowed word in Japanese. They say stop instead of stop. There's a lot of different examples of that, but so the Australian accent is just a bit different than the British accent, and it's just that's just what happens. Vowels become really slippery. They are a bit more standardized in the United States because, I mean, a Canadian, for example, and an American, they will sound almost very similar, except just a few times you can maybe spot a Canadian. But within the United States, most people kind of sound very similar. They have like more New York accents, or Boston, and then of course down south, and even within the South, very, very different. And I've noticed even within Australia, like people who they're from Perth, which is way over in West Australia, they sound very almost like British, I think. They have like a really smooth, really kind accent. So like for students though, if who've never had any sort of exposure to Australian accents, it's kind of like a big shock. Like for example, an American would say, "I'm going today." An Australian would say, "I'm going to die," and then which might prompt a response of like, "Oh no, how much longer do you have? Is it cancer?" Right? It's I don't mean to make fun of Australians, but that's just it's just it's a big change of pace especially for Japanese kids who are mostly used to at least in my town, most of us are Americans. We have two Canadians. Australia was fun. Like I mentioned earlier, it was safe. It was relatively clean. 7-Elevens have Krispy Kreme donuts there. Like, yeah, because I can only when I lived in Shizuoka Prefecture, Shizuoka City had Krispy Kreme donut locations. Of course, you can find them in Tokyo, but where I live now, you can't find them. So yeah, they had those at 7-Eleven. Just everything is so expensive. So expensive. Like a can of beer was like $7. And like with the exchange rate, I mean, it still comes out to be over $6 US or over 600 yen in Japan. That's crazy. Just everything. Although, like, I had steak, right? And I was like maybe $35 Australian dollars. It was like a really nice size steak. And if you pay that much money in like Tokyo, you might end up you pay that much money just for the meat alone. If you want the baked potato and vegetables or whatever, you have to pay extra for that. So that at least that was cheaper in Australia than what I was used to. Found like a really great fish and chips place that was like really close to my hotel. I was really happy about that. I know I've been to one British pub in Shibuya, which has fish and chips, and sorry, British style fish and chips, even though that's like the real deal. I kind of like the Australian version better. My favorite is like the New England style, from America, with the fried clams and stuff. Apparently New Zealand is like that as well. New Zealand style fish and chips. I kind of like that, but overall, it was great. So, had great conversations with people. Like I mentioned before, Wombat Samurai, I got to meet him in person, and hopefully I'm not letting the cat out of the bag, but today, or was it yesterday, he said he's going to be moving back to Japan, so I'm happy for him. Good on you, mate. And what else? A lot of sheep. I mean, if I can get into some politics for a bit, a lot of like I talked to one guy who, not really nice guy. He had like this big huge fluffy dog. So like the place I was staying at, it was like half motel, half RV park, and he had his RV and he had this big huge shaggy fluffy white dog, and I'm like, can I just lay on your dog? And your dog is just so beautiful. so I was talking to him, and he said he went to San Francisco, and he said it was just really just disgusting, with everything, the drug use and the needles everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, you're totally right. And he said that he got in an argument with an American who was saying like, we're doing the right thing going into Afghanistan and stuff like that, and he was very rightfully calling out the American for saying, you're just doing that. Just the American government just wants to show that they're on top of the world and everything. And I'm like, well, that's kind of not really it, actually. The purpose is just to have all these wars and just keep them coming, and just so they can make money off of the wars. The purpose is not to win the war, it's just to prolong, just to keep it going. And of course, also there's the whole thing about the poppy fields in Afghanistan and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he was really quick to criticize the president, and so I started talking about JFK, and I told him, he knew that there's no way that Oswald could have shot JFK, and I'm like, you probably want to kind of look into things and stop paying attention to the corporate controlled media, because they have their narrative, and they will lie to you in order to stick to that narrative. I said start with maybe changing your attitude towards the president, because in very many ways he is like the successor to what JFK had started, and he didn't really think about that before. Yeah, it's cool that there's many Australians who are pretty, I don't want to say woke, because I hate that term, but they're really pretty based, I guess is the word, pretty red-pilled. One of the teachers at the school I was at brought up some rather interesting points, and actually I just got to read the notes that I had written. Okay, so she made some good points on how multiculturalism is destroying Australia's national identity. Like, for example, boomerang counterfeits are made in China, and that's the product of globalization. And it doesn't help Australian culture, and in fact, it erodes Australian culture by very cheaply. It robs Aboriginals of revenue. The art and culture are not being passed down through the generations. She says that this is the role of teachers to educate people on the art, culture, and history of Australia, so that it can be passed on and not forgotten. If rampant immigration accelerates, this educational effort would be overwhelmed and forgotten. With Australians' small population, it's not too late though, and they're trying to kind of turn the tide. So in the end, multiculturalism results in no culture. I don't know how many times that point can be driven home. A strong national identity is what makes a country unique and gives something to this world. A country without a unique identity is essentially just merely a landmass, indistinguishable from other countries with nothing special to share with the world. There is a nationally recognized effort to protect and preserve this national identity of Australia. So I'm like, make Australia great again. But yeah, rampant, unimpeded immigration of people who are not slowly integrated into the host country's culture, and they are not properly encouraged to study, appreciate, and contribute to the host country's culture and society. Multiculturalism has also harmed education by lowering standards of grammar and spelling. The focus has shifted from proper English to just nominal communication, and as long as it's understood, then that's becomes sufficient. That should not be tolerated, but again, you have to treat everybody special, instead of holding everybody to the same standard, and that is a bunch of crap. People who immigrate into countries, you need to assimilate, and I live in Japan, and I always I get really kind of pissed off with just like the blowhard people, the types of people who come here and just they refuse to adapt. So I don't live. I didn't come here to change Japan. And I mentioned this like in that video I did on multiculturalism. So yeah, I live in Japan, and I'd have to say that I didn't choose to live in Japan because of, quote, diversity. I don't want Japan to be diverse. In the years I've lived here, I have never once seen an adult throw a temper tantrum and shout "hurry up" while standing in a grocery checkout line when a price check is needed on some item. This occurs on a regular basis in America, where I'm from, and it's just stupid to say that American culture is 100% correct on everything. But I think civilized cultures can learn from each other. But civilized, right? And I will say that some cultures are better than others, right? If you come from some place where people live in huts made out of cow poop and they drink milk mixed with blood, or even worse, they come from places where little girls get their fun buttons carved off with a rusty knife, and they're just screaming in pain, and those type of people can hardly contribute much to any civilized society. So yeah, in regards to protecting one's culture, countries need to definitely have criteria on who they let in. Like, what is it? Is it in Mozambique, I think, that it is believed that if you decapitate a bald man's head, that you can find gold inside his brain? It's not the type of person you want to invite to your Book of the Month club, right? Yeah. So, anyhow, beyond all that, I don't know what else I can say about Australia. The kids got to hold a koala. I didn't, because I know that holding a koala bear is it's kind of stressful to them. And I noticed that they would have to take turns with the koalas. Like they would they're holding the koala for photographs and stuff, and then the koala's like looking behind and not looking at the camera. He's like, "Oh, look at those trees, man! I want to climb some trees. I'm hungry. Got the munchies." They're like that, right? They don't really. I would have loved to just pet one, right, but not really hold one. And unfortunately, the kids were like, "Yeah, I kind of wanted to pet one too," but they were like, posed like this, and of course they might crap on their shoes and stuff. I told them to be careful about that. I don't want to. Yeah, I know it's stressful for them, so I kind of respect the koalas. I mean, I'm not like an animal rights activist or anything, but at the same time, like I can be. I do agree with PETA sometimes. I've seen the way elephants are treated in some zoos. Like they get like this nasty hook, right, and then they make the elephant curtsy for its lunch and stuff like that. I'm like, no, and I don't like those Barnum and Bailey circuses and stuff like that. I mean, dolphins love to jump through hoops, right? But you can do that. You don't have to get the water bloody, right? You don't have to thrash them or whatever to make them jump through hoops. But a bear just doesn't normally ride a unicycle, right? And in order to get to that point, you have to just be mean to them, and it's not natural. So yeah, in some ways I am kind of a leftist, I suppose. I'm definitely not, one way or the other, 100%. Anyhow, so the kids got to do the whole koala thing, and apparently Gold Coast is one of the that's the only place in the world where you can hold a koala, but that is coming to an end. Maybe they're going to be phasing that out in the next few years or so. So the kids who got to hold a koala, then that was, that is an experience that is going to be disappearing in the future, and I'm okay with that. They're cute, but they're not like cats who you just kitty, kissy, right? Just grab them by the head, and go kitty. Koalas are not like that, so just leave them alone. I'm like that, Anyhow, on the way there, we you know you get your own TV and everything like that. So I watched Captain America: Civil War again. Again, I will point out to people that the whole, like Bucky, he became the Winter Soldier through, like, they would say those code words and stuff like that. That happens in real life. It's called MK Ultra. Look it up. You can even find that crap on Wikipedia. The CIA had learned it from, I think at least the Nazis, like with Operation Paperclip, and that stuff had come out during the 70s during the Church Committee, and in the United States Senate, and like they had even exposed like the heart attack gun. They even showed the gun, and you shoot somebody, and it has a little frozen dart of poison, and it melts in them. Really tiny little thing, gives them a heart attack, or we can kill them, or at least give them a mild heart attack to give them a warning. And this stuff is like public. They have gone public with this stuff, but people don't know about it. So you mention this kind of stuff, and they think you're crazy. And going back to that one Australian guy I was talking to at the RV, right? Talking to him about like NASA, and I mentioned to him about how NASA had been founded by a former Nazi through Operation Paperclip, like Werner von Braun, and he knew about that. I'm like, yes. And so if you tell people about that, they think you're crazy because they don't know about it. And so he's like, yeah, you got a point there. So hopefully I helped. Maybe I helped to open his eyes. So anyhow, I saw Captain America. On the way home, I watched Thor Ragnarok a second time as well, and that was Wargate. And the best. Oh gosh, and I missed it. I wanted to see Battle Angel Alita in the theater for my birthday back in March. Didn't get to see it. We ended up just going to book off and instead, and I finally got to see that. So I watched it on the airplane. I'm like, I wanted to watch it all over again. I should have just watched it a second time. I was so impressed with that movie. I read the manga when I was I was a college student in the mid '90s. My friend had the manga, and we shared like this fetish with like cyborg chicks. It's like this epitome of purity and immaculate beauty and all that kind of stuff. And like there was this girl at my junior college. I think she may have been Filipino, and she was a really pretty girl. She had like short black hair, and I would make jokes about like, oh yeah, if maybe I can have her decapitated and then put her head on like a robot body, and then like I'd marry her, and then and she'd be my cyborg woman. And of course I'm totally being flippant. I'm totally flippant most of the time. People, they might think I'm serious, but I'm always screwing around with people. And so I'm big joking about like, oh yeah, I want to cut your head off and marry you, and then she'd be like, that's so sweet. I'm not serious, of course, but she was really pretty. But anyhow, so we were like really focused on the whole Gali thing, or her name was Alita in the American translation of the manga. So anyhow, I saw the movie, and I was so impressed. And it's really cool because it took me a while, but I found one guy who was like a diehard fan of the manga, and what he had to say as a movie review for that movie, and he liked it a lot. He was able to pinpoint like a few little minor things to complain about, but Alita, gosh, that is so cool. I've pre-ordered the DVD. The Blu-ray hasn't come out yet in Japan. It's coming out September 11th, and I already have a pre-order in for that, so I definitely looking forward to seeing that movie again. What else? I guess that's it. This has been like a really long video so far. I don't think there's much else to say. Oh, that's right. With my family, I went to go spend some time with at the in-laws' place. We rented Bumblebee, and I'm like, oh, that movie is so cool. Finally, somebody who really is a fan of Transformers did justice to the movie with this new Bumblebee movie. Even though it had Michael Bay's name on it, he wasn't like directing it or writing it or anything like that. So finally, like the first like opening part of the movie, I'm like, yeah, I could recognize all of the Transformers, and I thought that was just so cool. The whole, like, in the comics, Buster, who was called Spike in the cartoon, or Sam in the movie, the relationship he forms with Bumblebee when he saves Bumblebee from dying, that was a really cool part in the comics, and they redid that in the stupid movie, but then they kind of redid this again with this tomboy girl, and I thought that was really cool. Like, she had like a Smith shirt on. I'm like, I have that shirt too. It's really great. That movie was really cool. I really was happy about that. Plus, I saw the Avengers Infinity War finally. I rented that. Great movie. Anyhow, that's it. This movie, or this video I'm making, is probably way over. I'm sure it's over 2 hours so far. So if you're sticking around to the very end, thanks for watching, and hopefully you've gotten lots of laundry folded in the meantime. So as always, live long and prosper. May the force be with you, and so long, and thanks for all the fish. Bye.